welcome to Leaders of Tomorrow, India's only daily television platform for small businesses. We bring you the right information to empower you, the SME entrepreneur. Tonight on the show, we are talking about all the issues and concerns and opportunities for women entrepreneurs in honor of International Women's Day. Let me start by introducing our panel. First up, joining us from New Delhi is Anna Roy, Senior Advisor, Niti Ayog. In Mumbai studio, Shaina NC, BJP Leader and Social Activist, Priti Rathi Gupta, Founder LXME, and Divya Jain, Founder and CEO, Safeducate. Thank you all very much. Anna Roy, Shaina, Priti, Divya, thank you so much for your time here with us.
Thank you.
In studio today, talking about some of the issues which are most relevant to women in the workplace and women entrepreneurs. Anna, I want to come to you first and really talk about the fact that the Niti Ayog works very closely with the cause of women entrepreneurs and women entrepreneurship, is very excited and is doing a lot when it comes to women entrepreneurs in India. And I particularly want to talk about the Women Entrepreneurship Platform, or the WEP. If you could give us a sense of, where the idea for that really came about and what some of the key, flagship initiatives are under that, Anna.
Thank you, Sunanda, for giving me this opportunity to talk about this flagship initiative of Niti Ayog. In 2017, when Niti Ayog organized the Global Entrepreneurship Summit, more than half the delegates were women entrepreneurs. And in his interaction with the delegates, Mr. Kant, CEO Niti Ayog, felt that there is a need for having some kind of a mechanism to address the information asymmetry which presently exists, because he came across delegates who were not really aware of various initiatives which the government had taken, or for that matter any other initiatives which the other civil society or other organizations were taking to promote women entrepreneurship. So he announced the setting up of a women entrepreneurship cell in Niti Ayog, and that this cell will then address the various issues concerning women entrepreneurship and address their queries. I was asked to head that cell. And in my market research subsequently, I realized that, we do not really need another cell, as there were several mechanisms already in place, and what we really need to give more visibility to the existing initiatives. So instead of a cell, we set up the Women Entrepreneurship Platform, which is basically an aggregator, what you can call the Uber of entrepreneurship, where we are collating all the various initiatives taken by the government, the state government, the civil society, the corporates under the CSR, or any other entity, whether academia, the colleges, institutes, etc., at one place. Partner with these organizations, help them integrate, amplify their efforts, and also connect women to these initiatives, as well as help develop a robust community of women entrepreneurship, where the entrepreneurs, the women, help each other in this drive for promoting women entrepreneurship.
So you are really tackling the challenges as far as the lack of information and technology are concerned, Anna. Technology is something I'm going to come back and talk to you in depth about. But Shaina, let me talk to you about some of the hard facts. The headlines are not looking good, definitely, and this is something you're and everyone on this panel is well aware of. Reports by the Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation show that only 14% of the total entrepreneurs in the country at this point are women entrepreneurs. Multiple factors, we'll break that down in this panel. But if there are one or two things that you'd like to see changing as far as women entrepreneurs in the country are concerned through this program, if you want to talk to our women entrepreneurs to say, perhaps, yes, there are challenges, but how do you overcome those?
In the 21st century, every single woman, whether it's the women on your panel or otherwise, realize that to be economically empowered is the first step towards getting respect and towards giving your family safety, security, education. So in that sense, women have ventured out into various spaces. If you want to go back to statistics, the appalling factors are that even in a space like politics where anybody can enter, there are hardly 11% representatives in parliament. So that speaks a lot about us as a country. So if we're at 14% considering your statistics as far as entrepreneurs, of course there's a long way to go. But I only want to give one message, which is women must empower women. Women must support women. For every woman to come forward, you either have a very compassionate husband, or you have a great mother-in-law or a mother or some kind of a support system that is allowing you to step forward and to show your capability. And I only want to say in one thing that Sadhguru told me, that women should not play the compassion card, that because I'm a woman there's injustice or I haven't had the opportunity. Play the competency card, because moment you play the competency card, you're viewed very differently and you're able to achieve every dream.
Okay, you're talking about the role of the ecosystem, Shaina, and I will talk about the ecosystem as far as corporate India is concerned, but very quickly to both our entrepreneurs on the panel. And first to you, Priti, when products or services are being targeted specifically at women, you see industries like, say, retail that are talking largely to women and women consumers and customers, but your product is talking to women but looking at making them financially empowered. Where did that idea come about?
Well, I think I've had a journey of about 18 years in financial services, and the one appalling fact all through that career was that why are women not investing? Why are they not taking to managing their own money? And it was interesting that even though we were qualified to be financial experts, but when it came to taking charge of our money, it was delegated to the father, brother, husband, son, or distant LIC agent, as long as it was a man. So I think that orientation of saying that, when it comes to money, let somebody else manage it. While it is all good if it pans out good, but in the changing world and the changing dynamics, if you're not really managing your money actively to fulfill your needs, to meet your goals, then I think all this talk of, women empowerment, feminism is all incomplete.
Sure.
Because I think the power is in being financially not just independent, but being financially free, so that you know that you can fulfill your goals, your dreams based on, the financial strength that you have.
Okay.
Which is how Lakshmi was born. The idea was to bring it on a digital platform so that anybody in the country could access it. Today, out of the 1.2 billion users of smartphones, about 60% are women.
Sure.
So I think that was the tipping point where, the reach was very easy through the digital medium, where you could do a lot of learning, as well as the platform where, any woman could easily access and use it.
Okay. Divya, you also had a somewhat similar journey in the sense that you looked at an industry that was practically non-existent and decided that's where you wanted to start your venture.
Actually, I run a vocational training institute. We have about 150 schools where we actually go to villages, towns, and we train and skill people, a large proportion of them being women. We actually took shipping containers, converted those into schools, and these are mobile schools that we take from towns and villages. What we find, though, is that there is an inherent bias against women working. So while people are very happy educating a woman, it's very easy to, let's go get a degree, get a certification.
Sure.
But the minute it comes to actually working, being employed, starting your own businesses, there's a huge social stigma attached to it. So just the basic idea of getting out of your house, opening your bank account, thinking about a business, I think is something that holds them back.
Sure.
So that is something that needs facilitation. We need to go to the women, actually handhold them to bring them to a platform where they can set up their own businesses.
Okay, fair enough. Shaina, previously you said there is white information, black information is data. I have more data for you.
Sure.
While data is suggesting that the gap as far as higher education and women in higher education, women in colleges is closing, and compared to men who are in similar courses, what hasn't changed is as far as the participation in the workforce is concerned. A WF gender parity report as of 2017 showing that only 28.5% women are engaged in the labor force versus 82% men. How's that going to change?
I hope that changes. And for starters,
how is it going to change?
It has to be by ensuring that women are safe. And that can only happen if you follow the Vishaka guidelines. The fact and the harsh reality is you have only 36% of organizations actually adhering to it. So when it comes to a woman working late at night or expecting a woman to be home at a particular time, all these stereotypical norms need to change. And for that, there's only one answer, which is mindset. So even if you look at the family, if there is X amount as a budget, they will first think about educating the son and then the girl if there is something left. All these mindsets and stereotypical notions need to change, because once the woman's out in the workspace, the first concern is her safety, security. If we're able to ensure that women are safe and secure irrespective of where they're working, when they're working, and how they choose to work, what they choose to wear, break away from these norms, I'm sure that you would see this percentage escalate.
Okay. Anna, I just want to move away from talking about the challenges for just a second and talk about some of the opportunities that are available when it comes to empowering women entrepreneurs, and that is technology. You spoke about that in your opening comments. Niti Ayog is working very aggressively when it comes to promoting technology as a platform to really level what is happening for women and for entrepreneurs. My question to you is to try and understand, what should women entrepreneurs keep in mind when it comes to using technology? What should they understand really about how technology can be the biggest enabler perhaps?
We have collaborated with the Chartered Accountants Institute, the Indian Chartered Accountants Institute, and they are providing us 2 resource persons for each state, and through our platform we are trying to address that gap where people can kind of register and put in their queries, and these will be addressed. Similarly, IP is a major issue. You may invent something, a design, a process, a product, but you don't know how to safeguard your your invention or your unique thing. So we are trying to use technology to address these kind of things.
Okay, we're going to take a very quick break on that note, but we will continue talking about the opportunities and challenges for women entrepreneurs in India. Coming up on the other side, much more on that. Just stay tuned. Welcome back with us here on Leaders of Tomorrow, and tonight on the show we're talking about all the opportunities and challenges for women entrepreneurs in India right now. To both Priti and Divya, Shaina was talking about what needs to change in terms of the ecosystem when it comes to mindsets. Anna was talking about technology. But my question to you is, as women leaders, as women who are leading organizations, what should other women leaders perhaps know about encouraging more women in the workforce? What should be done? What are you perhaps doing at your organizations that maybe you want to use this panel to talk to our viewers about?
Particularly within LXME, I think 90% of the team is all women. And I think that really brought home to me, because even before this, when I was heading a larger financial setup alone, I don't think I stressed as much on saying that, we need to have the right balance of the number of women and men working.
Sure.
Look, I think there are a lot of challenges. It's easier said than done to say that, yes, we should stick to this. We should, bridge this gender diversity gap. But for that, I think it's a two-way process. While entrepreneurs or women who lead businesses can actually nurture, grow, because they understand what are the challenges that women face. But it is also for the women who join in the workforce to understand that when you join it in, like Shaina, said, that you don't play, you play the card of competence, and you say that this is what I'm good at and I can do it. And when I choose to do it, then I'm completely committed to it. I know that there are a lot of, even within the women that we have working, their first priority is always, oh, if something happens at home, then I have to go back home, It's not work. Now, that mindset has to change, and the way that changes is to say that today a man and woman both are bread earners. You know, it's no longer saying that the man runs the house and the woman takes care of the house. So it has to be a joint responsibility if the women has to work.
It's a mindset issue then.
It is a mindset issue, but you know, as women leaders, I think that's where we mentor our women and we say, look, there is a way to balance both of these.
Sure.
And it is the way to do that is not to say I prioritize this over this, but that I can balance both of these.
What are you doing at Safeducate?
To add to that, I'd like to say that you spoke about ecosystem. So I guess these are complexities we need to take into account, nurture, maybe create an environment where we allow for certain changes.
Sure.
For women to come out.
Enough.
Also, I think there's a broad difference between, like you said, the urban India and rural India. The challenges are very different, and therefore the ecosystems that we need to create across both these spectrums are very, very different.
And this is a question to everyone on this panel, and that is something that is affecting all women entrepreneurs, the gender pay gap. 67% between men and women for similar roles. It is definitely closing, but it is still really high. What's the solution there?
I think we need to put our foot down where you're talented, especially if you take fraternities, where you take films, for example, and Priti would be able to guide you there because she makes films too. But there's so many competent women actresses who are getting paid half that of a male counterpart. That comes when it is a professional role, or for that matter, even a lawyer, if you take a woman lawyer vis-a-vis a man lawyer. But I think once you're an entrepreneur and you set up a startup, like what Divya's done, she can determine what she's earning in terms of a revenue model. So everyone doesn't have that kind of an opportunity.
Using that as a medium, because as a country, we are very inspired by television. So your channel should do a program on Leaders of Tomorrow, have as many women come and speak on entrepreneurship, because that's where people get inspired. So I think, lead by example is something, and make sure that that example is seen by a lot of women, rural as well as urban.
Okay, we're running out of time on this panel, unfortunately, but I do want to ask the two of you, Priti and Divya, if you have any expectations from the government ahead of the budget, the full budget which is expected in June or July of this year. A lot has been announced by the government specifically for women entrepreneurs, specifically as far as funding for women entrepreneurs through, say, SIDBI, etc. Anything more?
I mean, from the government, what we'd love is maybe some corporate SOPs, tax breaks for women, for corporates who are actually employing women. We're not equal as far as things run right now. So if we do incentivize companies, and at the end of the day, money talks. So if you get a tax break, if you have more women in the workforce, I definitely feel that that's something we can see as a significant change.
Okay. Even as India's workforce is becoming younger and younger, and the opportunity that this workforce really presents for India as a country, your perhaps closing comments in terms of what millennials, particularly women, who are entering the workforce should keep in mind, something that you perhaps have been told yourself and that you want to leave our viewers with?
Yes, so basically I think, the opportunities available today are immense. We are trying our best to kind of, give visibility to these opportunities. We need to change this mindset of, seeking a job. From job seekers, we need to become job givers. And for doing that, the government, along with the civil society and various other organizations, are developing, working together to develop this ecosystem. And I think women need to utilize it. There is a mindset change, of course. And I feel that one of the ways we can address it is through, showcasing our role models. We organized the Women Transforming India Awards last year, and we kind of, felicitated 15 such achievers. And we had an entrepreneur from the Northeast who is manufacturing wine, global level, quality wine out of kiwi. So we had such a huge number of applications and such amazing women entrepreneurs. So I think if we showcase what women can do, they will be the great role models in getting more and more women into this system. And in WEP we are also promoting development of a community, mentoring through the community network, and I would request both Divya and Priti to come and register on the WEP and provide through mentoring and their experiences other such young millennials who would like to take up entrepreneurship for a vocation.
Fair enough, Anna. Thanks for that. Priti, my question to you is slightly different. We've had experts previously on the show who have said it's great that the government is changing a lot of policies, but that perhaps comes with also its own share of concerns. For instance, the 6-month maternity leave. Do you think that maybe India Inc. could be then a little wary of hiring women? How perhaps, what's your advice about overcoming maybe those mindset or those concerns?
Look, I think it's changing a mindset is a very long journey.
Yeah.
I think what can be done immediately, I mean, to say, if somebody came to me and say, okay, you are hiring somebody and over the next 2 years she's going to get married, have a child and take a break, I think the first instant thought is, of course, oh my God, how am I going to manage that piece? But I think it's more important that we create the right kind of infrastructure. For example, all this talk, I think just the financial inclusion bit is the first step to getting women to understand that, yes, I can be financially independent. The second piece is, of course, the access to capital, access to finance, which we've always spoken about, that how do women, Anna just mentioned that while there is a lot that is being done, do we have the information? We're a vast country. Having 2 centers in Delhi and Bombay and maybe in Bangalore will not probably, we need to have that information and those setups at various regional levels. And I think that is where women entrepreneurs play a very big role. I mean, for instance, I know that I do this entire talk about idea to execution to women, where we talk about how do you take care of what are the things that you need to take care, what are the jobs that are available, what are the opportunities that are available, and how do you manage your money. So all of that. And having said that, I think the fourth most important thing is that companies need to create that infrastructure, because I think we as a company itself, as a country, are losing out on a huge amount of opportunity if we're not getting women into the workforce. I mean, we're talking
taking a hit on the GDP
and I think, of course, on the GDP, I mean, we could look at a 4.6% additional GDP, and maybe Anna will corroborate that. If we are able to create that right infrastructure. But, like I said, changing mindset is a very long drawn process.
Absolutely. Very briefly, Divya, have you had good mentors along the way? What has perhaps been the role of a mentor in your life as a woman entrepreneur?
I think the biggest mentor and the strongest mentor has been my father-in-law, my mother-in-law. They've always supported me. I think Shaina spoke about this, is that she will always support you, look after the kids, look after the family. I think we need to have the family pitching in to support you when a woman decides to go out. The house is everyone's responsibility, not just the woman. So I think women need mentors, women need backers, we need people who will vouch for us, who will support us. And I think women, if we support each other, that,
Great. On that very positive note, Shaina, Priti, Divya, thank you so much for your time tonight. We've run completely out of time on this episode, but if you have any feedback for us, here's how you get in touch. leadersoftomorrowtimesgroup.com is our email ID. Get in touch with us also on social media. Sunanda_J on Twitter, LOT_ET now is our official Twitter handle. Leaders of Tomorrow ET now is our Facebook page. Thanks for watching. Have a good night.